Carita, one of the questions and sometimes one of the dilemmas we sit with when someone has bought a property and they are very excited, they got the loan from the bank, and then between them getting the granted quotation and the registration of the bank, they decide, listen, I want to get a car, or I want to do, I want to have an extra credit card to maybe pay my fees to the attorneys that I don't have or didn't save for. And if they do that, then we had the dilemma that sometimes people can't buy the property because they got credit in that time. Just before registration, the bank does a final credit check to say, all system goes, we can register, the client is still in the same financial position as they were when they got the granted quotation. And if that is not the same, then we've got a huge issue. Why is this such a big problem for the bank?
On assessing your initial bond application or your home loan, the bank take all your credit repayments in consideration, and they determine your affordability based on your expenses, on your daily expenses, on your monthly expenses, and also your credit repayments. And they need to do that to comply with the National Credit Act. So should you, after a final grant of your home loan, go and spend on credit, be it, as you mentioned, on a credit card or buy a car, that will obviously reflect as a new item on your credit bureau. And banks might go back to your initial application to go and check whether your financial stance is still the same. And if they find that there's been an increase in your credit expenses, they will reassess your application, and they might find that it has an adverse effect on your affordability and therefore might decline the progress of your bond or your registration of your bond.
Yes, so what you are saying is, if you decided to get a credit card or a car and you can afford it still with buying the property, then they'll be fine. But if it affected your credit score negatively and you cannot afford the property anymore, it all goes to affordability. Then you might not get the property. So,
right, the safest,
yeah.
I'm sorry. The safest way is to not go and take on additional credit between the period of your bond being granted and it's being processed by the attorneys until registration. Once it's registered, the banks do not have really access in order to call up your home loan again, unless you don't repay your home loan. But in a case like this, it's the safest to not engage in any credit in that 2 or 3 months period before registration.
Yeah, so once it's granted, the bank will still affect you buying the property, but after registration, then that's a different case. And it's not such a long thing, hey? It's actually just maybe 2 months from granted quotation until registration, give or take. So it's better to wait a bit. If you do not have that extra cost for the fees of the attorneys, we always advise never, ever, ever go and borrow it from a financial institution where if it's between those 2 times, granted quotation and registration, then the bank will pick it up and it will have a negative effect. Rather borrow that from a personal friend or family member and then pay them back later.
If you're not sure, then you're welcome to contact us or your bond originator and say, listen, I need to buy a new car. This is what the repayment is going to be. Just check on the affordability. Because if we've declared a vehicle finance of 5,000 a month, and you're now buying a car for 5,800, that might not have such a severe impact on your affordability. But if you're now going to pull out your new BMW, that's going to have a 12,000 repayment a month, that is a lot of money to make up. So we can just make sure to say, if you're worried, just talk to us and we might be able to advise.
Yes, so you might say you might have a BMW, but not a house. So,
yes.
But first talk to us.
You'll have to choose wheels or a roof.
Yes. Thank you for your time, Gerrit. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.